The Vikings were fierce seafarers, raiders, and explorers who left behind tales of conquest so powerful they still capture the imagination today. But what happened after their battles on distant shores? Did they quietly count their spoils, or did they unleash wild celebrations that reshaped their society itself? Were their victory feasts something closer to sacred rituals, filled with meaning and ceremony? Or were they reckless displays of chaos designed to solidify power? Archaeologists and historians have uncovered fragments of evidence, but the truth about how Vikings celebrated their victories remains both fascinating and mysterious. The Viking Age, from around 800 AD to 1100 AD, was marked by expansion, war, and trade throughout Northern Europe. Hailing from modern-day Scandinavia, Norway, Denmark, and Sweden, the Vikings were not only warriors, but also farmers, craftspeople, and merchants. Their long ships gave them a major advantage, enabling raids along the coasts of England, Ireland, France, and even into Eastern Europe. Victory in battle was central to their cultural identity, but unlike the simple image of fierce raiders often imagined today, their celebrations carried social, political, and religious weight. To understand these rituals, we must look beyond the battlefield and into the feasting halls, the songs, and the rituals they left behind. Viking victories often yielded plunder, and the distribution of this wealth played an important part in how they celebrated success. Evidence tells us that warriors took particular pride in sharing spoils, from silver coins and jewelry to exotic goods captured in raids across Europe. This practice was not merely about personal wealth, but about cementing loyalty. Leaders, known as chieftains or kings, gave rewards to their followers to ensure continued support in future expeditions. Today, historians believe that these acts of gift-giving transformed victory celebrations into moments that reinforced hierarchies and built powerful alliances. One of the most vivid aspects of Viking victory celebrations took place inside the Mead Hall. These great communal spaces were not only the center of village life, but also symbolic arenas for navigating power and loyalty. After a successful raid, warriors gathered to enjoy feasts that included roasted meats such as pork, beef, and venison, often accompanied by bread and cheese. Mead, a honey-based alcoholic drink, flowed freely, and skalds, poets, and storytellers recited epic tales of heroes, ensuring that the deeds of victorious warriors were remembered for generations. Feasting was both celebration and performance, reinforcing honor and reputation. While alcohol was a constant presence, Viking drinking carried deeper meaning than simple indulgence. Archaeologists have found decorated drinking horns, sometimes adorned with ornate metalwork, used during ceremonial toasts. Drinking customs symbolized brotherhood and commitment among warriors, and ritualistic toasts honored the gods, fallen comrades, and living leaders. The order of drinking was strictly observed, reflecting social ranking and power. Evidence suggests that these rituals reinforced the deeply stratified nature of Viking society, blending festivity with political affirmation. Victory was not only celebrated with food and drink. The Vikings believed their gods, such as Odin, Thor, and Freya, played direct roles in battle. Historical accounts and archaeological finds show that sacrifices were sometimes performed after victories. These could include offerings of animals, weapons, or treasure thought to honor the gods and ensure future favor. In rare cases, accounts recorded by Christian observers described human sacrifices, although historians continue to debate their scale and frequency. What is clear is that religious rituals gave victory celebrations a spiritual dimension, elevating them beyond mere human revelry into sacred acts of recurrence and renewal. The preservation of memory was a key part of Viking culture, and victories were immortalized through song and oral narrative. Skalds, or court poets, composed verses praising leaders and warriors, often exaggerating their deeds to inspire loyalty and fear. These compositions were more than entertainment. They functioned as propaganda, shaping how leaders were remembered and portrayed within Viking society. Today, much of what we know about Viking celebrations comes from sagas written down centuries later in Iceland. Although these sources mix history with myth, they reveal how deeply storytelling was woven into the very fabric of commemorating victory. Victory celebrations were also a stage for internal competition among Viking warriors. Feasts and rituals gave individuals the chance to boast about their bravery and accomplishments, sometimes sparking rivalries that carried into future expeditions. Archaeological evidence shows that lavish displays of dress and weaponry during these gatherings helped demonstrate power. Leaders used celebrations to showcase wealth through imported goods, elaborate clothing, and jewelry obtained during raids. Historians believe that by turning victory into spectacle, Vikings reinforced both social cohesion and competition within their groups. Although Viking warfare was largely the domain of men, women played a significant role in the celebrations that followed. In many cases, women were responsible for serving feasts, pouring drinks, and managing the rituals associated with hospitality. Some sagas reference shield maidens, legendary women who fought in battle, though historians debate their historical reality. Even without wielding weapons, women of Viking society exercised influence during celebrations, arranging alliances through marriage, strengthening family ties, and ensuring that the social order was preserved amid the revelry. Victory celebrations often carried reminders of the Viking worldview regarding death and the afterlife. Warriors believed that dying gloriously in battle could lead them to Valhalla, Odin's great hall. Songs and toasts frequently invoked this idea, honoring not only those who survived, but also those who had fallen. Archaeologists have uncovered burial mounds packed with weapons, jewelry, and sometimes feasting gear, suggesting that the celebration of victory was imagined as something continuing even after death. To remember the slain in their rituals kept the collective bond strong and affirmed their belief in eternal glory. Much of what we understand about Viking celebrations comes from a mixture of archaeology and written chronicles. Foreign observers, especially Christian monks, sometimes described the Vikings with horror, emphasizing the drinking, boasting, and sacrifices they witnessed. At the same time, archaeological finds such as feasting vessels, decorated drinking horns, and remains of animals show that food and drink were central to their rituals. These two sources, combined with later Norse sagas, allow historians to reconstruct what these celebrations might have looked like, even though many details remain uncertain. The Vikings celebrated victories with rituals that were more than mere parties. Their feasts reinforced loyalty, their gift-giving bound warriors to chieftains, their songs preserved memory, and their sacrifices tied them to the gods they believed determined fate. Today, historians see these celebrations as vital expressions of Viking culture, blending warfare, religion, and social order into a single complex tradition. Whether inside a crowded mead hall, on a windswept battlefield, or beneath the gaze of wooden idols, Viking victory celebrations shaped not only how they cherished their triumphs, but also how they defined themselves as a people.